There's people on bicycles riding up and just handing out bottles of water. So it's a very interesting vibe, very pleasant. Everybody's super happy, and it's very cool to have a tiny little Muslim girl come up to me, 3 years old, and just hand me a lollipop. So it's super cute. Good times here in Riyadh. So I'm on my bus from Jeddah to Riyadh. It's about a 12-hour bus. And I'll let you know this, if you plan to do this same bus route, bring a jacket. I've got my windbreaker on. I'm absolutely frozen. This guy's actually wrapped up in the curtain because he's so damn cold. Well, the sun has just set and we're about 3 hours from Riyadh, but all of the buses on the highway have stopped all at the same time because it is breakfast time for everyone. Everybody's lined up to get their food, get their drinks, get their water, and they're all going to eat at the same time in approximately 10 minutes. So I just counted, there are actually 34 buses packed in this corner, and everyone is ordering and eating at the same time. It is crazy. So I'm in the largest bus station I've ever been in my life here in Riyadh, and nothing is in English, and I cannot find well, there's one sign that says information, points to one end, and then the sign that says information points to the other end. So I have no idea. Okay, so this entire bus terminal, there are 5 signs that actually say information in English, and they point in random directions, but there is no actual information booth. I asked the security guard where are the buses. He says go to door number 2, and that's where the city buses are, but there is no door number 2. There's lots of doors, but none of them say number 2. Okay, so here's some more Middle East drama. To take the public bus here in Riyadh, you cannot pay cash. You have to pay with a bus card. But you cannot buy a bus card here at the humongous, massive bus station, where all of the city buses are and all of the travel buses are. They don't have the machine. So you have to walk way down the end of the street, around the corner to the next bus stop, where apparently they have a machine that you could buy for 20 Riyal a bus card. Put some money on it. Then come all the way back to where I am. Oh, there's the bus driver. He's the one that told me. He says you cannot buy a bus card at the bus station. The actual bus terminal. Oh my God. I love the people in the Middle East, but I got to get out of here. And as you could tell by my voice, I'm losing my voice because of the overload of air conditioning indoors, the overload of smoking indoors, and I had a lung infection because of the dust and the dirt of the desert. So again, I'm walking down another highway. Listen to my voice, sounds great, doesn't it? So I can go over across the street there to not a bus terminal, just a tiny bus station, which I can apparently buy a card. So now I'm back at the bus terminal with my bus card where I can wait for a bus to come. What a system. Why wouldn't they put one of the bus machines at the humongous, massive bus terminal? So this bus card is very much similar to United Arab Emirates. You buy the card at the machine, you put money on it, tap tap. So how it works here in Riyadh is it's 10 Riyal for this card, which is approximately $3 US. I put another 10 Riyal on it, and the driver told me that it's 4 Riyal for a bus, which gives you 2 hours. You can transfer as many times as you want, and there is the card. So it is now 12:30 at night, and unfortunately that city bus took an hour and a half to take me, which normally takes 15 minutes. There is so much traffic with Ramadan late night. This huge building is the King Fahad National Library. Well, these buses say bus tour on them, but they look like party buses. So this little square is full of coffee shops and little souvenir places, little food boxes right in front of the giant public library. Solid green is the color of the Saudi Arabian flag, so a lot of the buildings here in the center do have green around them. And welcome to, I believe, the tallest building in Riyadh. I'm not even going to bother to pronounce this. You can Google it. It's a name that I'm not even going to try. But it is, I believe, the main feature of the city. So approximately 5 or 6 years ago, I was in the Middle East. And it was the first time I ever got a lung infection. I lost my voice, very similar to this, had a lung pain. And now, 6 years later, I'm back and I have the same issue. So, basically to sum it up, the people in the Middle East are absolutely wonderful, hospitable, friendly, beautiful, I love it. However, the dust and the dirt of the desert that's floating in the air, the pollution from some of these big cities because of the overload of cars, the high excess of smoking indoors, all restaurants, all cars, all of my hosts, everybody smoking, and the incredible amount of air conditioning freezing my ass off indoors has made me sick in the throat with, well, as you can hear, I sound like a monster. So I just found out actually that the bus system here in Riyadh is new. They spent billions of dollars making the whole thing, and it's only 2 weeks that it's been open. And they're building a subway / metro system across the entire city. Probably about 40 to 50 subway stops, billions of dollars, and that's going to be open probably next year. Time to visit my first park. So here's a nice old map of what I'm about to see. I don't know where I am now, but there is obviously a little small lake in the middle. And that's about it, because I can't read it. I don't often pay to go into parks. I just normally go into the free ones. But you know what? It's about 6 Riyal, about $2. And it does look beautiful on the map. Looks like a nice little lake in the middle, so I'm treating myself, indulging with $2. But the security guard, the moment I stepped up on this rock like this, boom, starts yelling at me to come off. So apparently can't step on the rocks. That guy. They have so many like tiny little rules in the Middle East, it makes me laugh. You can look left but you can't look right, you can sit but you can't stand, you can this but you can't that. It's, oh my god, it's too funny. So I have a beautiful story to share. I'm walking through that park and I'm exploring. It's approximately 6 o'clock at the time, about 30 minutes or so before sunset, before the call to prayer and before the Muslim people can eat with Ramadan. And this girl waves at me, this Muslim girl gives me a wave, and I could see her face, obviously. Her face was exposed, gives me a big smile and says, please come over and have some food with us, with my family. And I said, well, I'm not Muslim, you know, and you know, I'm okay, you know, thank you. I just wasn't sure exactly what to do. And she goes, are you fasting? And I said, no, I'm not fasting, but I'm kind of cheating, eating food in the shadows when no one's looking. And she goes, it's okay, you can eat now then. Please come have some food. No, 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 it's okay, it's okay. And the more I said no, the more she persisted. And then actually this black lady comes up, the cleaner, the aide who lives with them. She's from Uganda in Africa. And she said it's in the Islam culture that if they offer you some food, it's rude to decline. So you should have a little something. So I said, okay, no worries. And I joined them and I had a little bit of fruit. They offered me some local Saudi tea, and I chatted with the daughter. I chatted a bit with the mom, but the daughter had to translate because the mom didn't speak any English. The daughter's English was maybe 50%, but the Uganda cleaner was about probably 90% English. So it was very interesting. And then the 3 kids come over, the young girl's children, and I met the whole family, and they offered me all this food. And then the call to prayer came, and they all ate while I ate some more. And then they prayed while I sat there and ate some more. And then finally I just left now, after spending about an hour with this lovely family, this Saudi family, the daughter, the mother, the 3 children, actually 4 children, the 4th one appeared out of nowhere, and the Uganda helper. So a wonderful experience tonight here in Riyadh. So this here is the King Abdulaziz Historical Center Park, and that straight ahead is the Murabba Palace. And that building there is the National Museum of Saudi Arabia.
قالت اسمع عندك الخشب مثلا؟ الخشب كيف يعني؟ تعطينا الصورة وانا اشوف كم مثلا الحجم؟ رطوبة محددة، تربة محددة، زمان محدد، درجة. لا هو في اليوم 8 ساعات. باليوم 8 ساعات.
Time to go visit the Kingdom Center. Well, the Kingdom Center looks like a giant beer opener. Well, it is 11 a.m. in the morning, Ramadan time, so the lookout point may not be open, but I'm going to attempt to go up there and see out the windows. Well, there's my answer. The Sky Bridge is not open until 3, so I will have to come back later. So what's the name of this building?
Jadwal.
Jadwal, which means
Jadwal,
twister in Arabic.
Yeah.
Appropriate name.
When there was Riyadh season.
So my amazing host has just brought me to an area called Kaft, which is King Abdul Financial City. And all of the buildings are super weird. And even in the financial district, there is a super cool looking mosque. So I'm in the center of Kaft. As you can see, there is a monorail that they've built as well. They're connecting building to building so you can get around easier. And the new metro system / subway that they're building also is coming straight from the airport out here to make business meetings and things much easier. And these buildings are crazy. And here's a map of the area. As you can see, there is a lot of buildings, little parks, grassy areas. Apparently they have some festivals and events that go on out here in this square. It is a very cool place. This one here might be my favorite. It looks like 4 buildings squeezed together, but it's actually just one. Welcome to Riyadh's Old Town. My hosts have brought me here tonight, and it's called Diriyah. So in this old town, there's this super cool museum. It's only 20 Riyal, which is like $5. And you get to see a lot of the old Saudi, old Riyadh. As you can see, this is the electronic room.
مريتها عصر الثلاثة طفيلين وذكرت ماضي أيامهم والليالي وقمت التفت واحط بالعين واشيل آثارهم في الدار والدار خالي.
Good afternoon. Today's itinerary, we start with the zoo, actually just around the corner. I will not be going in the zoo. Probably just check it out from the outside in the King Abdullah Park. It is definitely busy today. As you can see by the map on the wall here, there is the design, and it's pretty much like the one I went to at the beginning of my week. Well, I have another beautiful Middle East people story to share. There was a tiny little kitten on the corner of the street. I started to pet, and then I tried to give her some water with my that is in my backpack, and a guy from a coffee shop came out with a little glass of milk, and he says she loves milk, so which is better than the water. We small talk for 2-3 minutes. Where are you from? I'm from Canada, blah blah. He says, are you gonna go into the park? And I said, no, I have to kind of watch my money. I'm on a budget. I travel full time for many years around the world, blah blah. He says, come with me. And we go up to the entrance to the park, and he speaks 2, 3, 4 words to the girl. The girl takes me to the security gives me a thumbs up, and boom, they let me in the park. So we would not get that in North America, that's for sure. It's because I was feeding the homeless cat, and he saw me, and then she saw him, and one thing leads to another, and boom. So welcome to King Abdullah Park. Well, they have a giant amphitheater in the center of the park. This is all marble flooring. At night they have a sound and light show with the dancing fountain. And tucked away way in the corner is the smallest little Burger King I've ever seen. I guess there's a daytime show too. Wow, more beautiful stories. So as I'm exiting the park, first the security guards give me a wave. One guy says, good day, have for you, which I think means have a good day. The girl at the cash gives me a smile and a wave. And right over here in this corner, this coffee shop, Caverna here, is where the guy came out and actually allowed me, or helped me to get into the park. So before leaving, I wanted to give them a hello and a thanks. And next thing you know, they invite me in, and boom, they give me this. So there's a Filipino guy working in there and a Moroccan guy, and they both made me this avocado smoothie. And they said, it's you're a guest of Saudi, so that is for you, enjoy your day. So free admission to a park, free smoothie, and just free smiles and free love from here in Saudi Arabia. So I gotta say this to all my Western friends and family, and everybody who watches the media, everybody who watches CNN, everybody who watches movies where there's some guy with a turban and a hijab and they're carrying a gun and they're like, oh, yalla, yalla, yalla. You know what, I'm sorry, but the people in the Middle East have got to be the friendliest people I've met in my life. So don't be afraid to come to the Middle East. Come with an open heart and an open mind, and you will love it here. So if you have been following the channel, during these Gulf countries, you probably heard and saw that I was bitching and complaining quite a bit about things. Is their bus system not so good? Yeah. Is it hard to walk around? Yeah. Is it super, super hot? Yes. Do I have a small lung infection right now because of the dust and the dirt of the desert? Yes. So if I had a checklist of 10 things, yeah, some of them are at the bottom of the list. But when it comes to hospitality, kindness, help, people outgoing and just smiling at you and making you feel good, Middle East is top of the list. So make your own list. You know, if you want the cooler weather, You know, in the crystal clear skies, maybe it's not for you, but if you want super friendly people, and I'm telling you, I'm not a big hitchhiker, but if I put my thumb out here on the street, boom, you are picked up in less than 5 minutes, and they won't drive you in the direction you're going, they'll actually drive you to where you need to go. It is unbelievably hospitable and friendly here. Another thing you'll notice if you decide to do some walking in the Gulf countries is that they put trees in the middle of the sidewalk, as you can see, which pushes you to the edge of the sidewalk. And in a lot of cases, there's branches that hang out into your face, which actually pushes you straight out into the highway. So there again, there is no way to walk any of these Gulf countries where they're walking on highways, running across highways, jumping over cement walls. Every single one I've experienced so far, all the same. Here's a good example right here. You're walking down the sidewalk. See, you cannot go to the right because the bushes are right against the wall. So it actually pushes you out onto the road, sometimes almost into the lane that people are driving on. So be warned, if you're not renting a car in the Gulf countries, be very, very cautious that you don't get hit. Well, that area you see in the distance is called Wadi Hanifa or Hanifa Valley. And I tried to get here before dark, but I didn't. And now I'm just trying to get to it anyways, but it's closed off with a giant cement wall that runs for miles, full of electrical, barbed wire fencing. So yeah, there's a lot of fences and walls in these countries. So there you go. There's the valley. Good enough. So when you're exploring these countries, it's very tricky because you want to see a few things in the daytime, like, you know, parks and canyons. However, it's 5,000 degrees. At night it's much cooler, but things like that are in the dark. So you got to set out kind of early afternoon so you're not dying of heat. But if you are driving, fine, maybe you can get to where you're going. But if you're walking like me or attempting a city bus, it took me 6 hours just to go to the zoo, and I didn't even go in the zoo, as you know. Took a photo of it, and then to the park. So it took me 6 hours to go to a zoo and a park that were beside each other, and then get to this valley. All which could probably be done in a couple hours with a car maybe. So public transportation, not good. You need to hitchhike everywhere you're going. Well, I wanted to go up the Sky Bridge, but it's closed for the night, so possibly tomorrow. So my lovely hosts I'm staying with have taken me out to their campsite. It's an area of land that is actually, you purchase from the government and you can turn it into a bit of a campsite. So they share it with some friends. And we're here for sunset, we're here for Laftar, which is the first meal of the day. The sun has just set, so we were a few minutes late. But this is their campsite, super cool. It's run off a generator. The security already turned the generator on, they knew we were coming. And they're gonna show me their awesome campsite. And we're gonna have our first meal of the day. So welcome to the campsite. So you can see in front, that's tent number 1. Over here is tent number 2. Straight ahead, tent number 3. And over there is tent number 4. And this is sort of the main seating area. They've dug a hole down into the desert and they built this outdoor seating. Very, very cool. They've also built a big screen so they can, a projector to do some movies with. Little barbecue pit. And again, all of this is run off a generator. And my host just topped it up, I think, with the diesel fuel. Let's take a look at one of the tents here. And we're the only ones. Actually, nobody's out here tonight. So my friends called them up and said, hey, we're using the campground tonight. One of the fire pits. I'm gonna peek into another tent here. Ooh la la. And they've even added some tile. Marble flooring, wow. So over here are the toilets. And they said that there's a shower here as well. Let's take a look. Oh, there's the water. And the wooden shack here is the kitchen. A little piece of grass and a sled for one child. And even a beach volleyball court. All right, time to eat. So here's our food that they packed up, and they're actually preparing the coffee on the open fire because it takes 20 minutes or so to make. And that's how you make coffee right there. So it is official. My host just told me that Ramadan is over. So apparently tonight, basically the way it works, they explained it to me, the crescent moon was in line with the sun. Something like that. I'm gonna sound like an idiot to my Muslim friends, but so Eid is tomorrow, which is the beginning of the 2-day celebration. Well, the street project here in Riyadh is incredibly good. It's been non-stop busy. I actually just finished doing about a 20-minute interview with an Egyptian news channel. A reporter came up and just did the whole interview. Somebody translated the whole thing, so it's now a little bit quiet enough for me to film this. But yes, Riyadh here in Saudi Arabia is a hit. So that spot on the ground right in front of you is where I was doing my street project until the police came and said you have to have a permit to do it. The cop was really nice. The people helped to translate, said it was a cool project, everybody loved it, we're having a good time, blah blah. But the police said you need a permit. And that just goes on to my list of money countries. And I know people are going to laugh at this when they hear it, but when I showed this in Lebanon, no problem. When I showed this in Jordan, no problem. Palestine, no problem. When I went to Tel Aviv in Israel, which is the money city, had a problem with the cop, permit. And then same thing with the Gulf countries. Had a problem in Dubai. Actually, Oman, it was okay. Maybe I was just lucky. And then boom, Saudi, same thing, and Jeddah, and same thing here. So with the money countries, same in Europe, doesn't matter where you're from. Euro, dollar, pound, real, the high currency countries need a permit to think. Well, if there's one thing I noticed with my time across Saudi Arabia so far, the most popular coffee shop is actually this one. Yep, Tim Hortons Cafe Bake Shop. Canadians' #1 franchise, now owned by America, is everywhere and is the most popular in Saudi Arabia. So welcome to Eid Festival in downtown Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, in front of busy Tim Hortons. So the point to the Eid Festival, which is similar to our Christmas back in Western culture, is a time of giving. You know, giving gifts to your family, friends, loved ones. But what's interesting about the tradition here is that they actually give to total strangers as well. There's lots of little kids running around, tiny little kids, like 3 years old, with little boxes of lollipops, little mini chocolate bars, just handing them out to strangers. There's people on bicycles riding up and just handing out bottles of water. So it's a very interesting vibe. very pleasant. Everybody's super happy, and it's very cool to have a tiny little Muslim girl come up to me, 3 years old, and just hand me a lollipop. So it's super cute. Good times here in Riyadh. Also, because of the Ramadan schedule, everyone is still up super late. So these tiny kids that are 3 years old are up. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning right now, 1:30. So it doesn't matter your age. With Ramadan time, you are up super late, and you sleep in super late. So it is now 3:30 in the morning, and the streets are actually packed with scooters and shoppers and drinkers and dogs and everybody. So I'm in this fancy VIP restaurant with bow ties and tuxedos. As you can see, straight ahead is a fancy lounge, upscale VIP. No, oh, it's actually a cinema. Yup. Saudi Arabia, they love their movies. And actually they have 12 movies playing tonight, and 10 of them are already sold out 2 hours in advance. So you come here for some fancy food and a fancy movie, and have a fancy night. So because a lot of the movies are sold out, I figured I'd ask them, you know, which ones are in Arabic, which ones are in English, how much the movies are. She said, no problem, sir. You know, most of them are in English with Arabic subtitles, and it's only 150 Riyal for the movie, for a standard movie. I'm like, okay, thank you so much, and off I went. And then I did a quick currency calculation, and 150 Riyal for a standard movie, not VIP, not IMAX, not 3D, just a regular standard movie, is $47 US. What? Yeah, exactly. It is an upscale, super fancy thing to go to a movie here in Saudi. It is time for another super dramatic story. So I hitchhike, this guy picks me up, decides to drive me to wherever I want to go. So I told him I'm going to go to the embassy quarter in a place called Yamama Palace. And he gives me this funny look, but because he doesn't speak a lot of English, we continue on our way. He drops me off near the palace, and off he goes. I decide to approach the palace, not quite sure what kind of palace it is, didn't bother to research it. In Abu Dhabi, there's Emirates Palace, which is a hotel, and there's many places across the Middle East that actually have the word palace. They even have shawarma palace. So as I approach, I see a pile of security guards with big, huge guns. They come up to me and they're like, no. I said, oh, so it's, you know, it's a big palace. I'm like, visitors? No. Photo? No. Video? No. Okay, no problem. I turn and I start to walk away. As I get far around the corner, away from the giant cement walls that are surrounding this palace, I figured, hey, you know, maybe I could take a couple of photos of some buildings up ahead. So I quickly check my map, and I see that they're all labeled as hotels. Ritz-Carlton, something else, the Didira hotel, whatever. They're all labeled as hotel on my map. So I pull out my camera, go up on the top of a grassy knoll, take a nice little video with a little bit of information about this hotel I'm taking a picture of. Next thing you know, 4 military trucks pull up, a guy in a white car, they all jump out, they got their guns and everything. Long story short is they pretty much tackled me. They grab my camera, they grab my cell phone, they go through my bag, they go through the passport, they go through every page, they look at every sticker, every stamp. They look at all the information. They tell me to open up my cell phone so that they can look at photos. They can scroll through everything. They actually started dialing some of my local numbers of some hosts I'm staying with, or even some of the hitchhiking guys. They gave me their numbers. So anybody with a local Saudi number, they start dialing it from my WhatsApp and just asking, who am I, blah, blah, blah. All of this obviously in Arabic, so I don't know what the hell's going on. So after trying to explain that I'm just a visitor, just a tourist, I'm not taking photos or videos of any of the government offices or the palace, which I couldn't see anyways, another guy shows up in a big truck, guy shows up in a monster truck, guy shows up in a military truck. There ends up being about 8 or 9 of these officers. Finally, one speaks English, and he basically says, they told you at the gate you can't take photos and videos and to leave, and then you took a video of this building. And I said, well, it says a hotel on my GPS, and they said, no, it's a government office, blah, blah. So I was 2 hours with these guys. Probably half an hour of it was sitting in the back of one of their military trucks while they drill me with questions. They make phone calls, they receive phone calls, the whole works. Once I found out what kind of building it was, they watched that video numerous times. Everybody watched the video, they listened to it, they watched it, they paused it, they studied it. They ended up deleting that one. They ended up deleting 2 videos and 1 photo of what I thought was a big fancy hotel. And then they finally let me go, gave me all my stuff back, everything. It was pretty spooky. At the beginning it was fine, and then I thought, oh boy, what's going on? So what have I learned from this scenario? Well, when you're in the Middle East, don't take videos or photos of anything with the word palace in it. Even if it says Palace Mall, Palace Shawarma, Palace Hotel, it might not actually be one of those. It might actually be the King of Saudi Arabia's home and surrounding offices that he works in. Or you will get tackled, you will get drilled, they will take everything you've got, check it all. Man, the guy was standing behind me so close I thought he was actually smelling me. So it was a little spooky, but I am free. I'm now walking through the embassy quarter. But sorry guys, no photos and no videos of any of these buildings. Okay, so I lied, I'll do one. See, there you go, Cultural Palace. It's got the word palace in it. But look at this. It's an outdoor plaza slash shopping mall, not an actual palace. So I am still in the Embassy District, and it has 2 names. They call it Embassy District. However, I'm away from the embassies, so I will begin recording again. This district's called Al Safarat slash Embassy District. So I'm heading into a square which has a huge mosque. Well, I hitchhiked from the embassy quarter back to the center, and I am back at the Kingdom Center. The first day I came, it's so windy. The first day I came here, it was not open yet. Yesterday I came the second day, but it closed at 10, and I was here at 5 after 10. It is now 8 o'clock. I have time to go up, but the weather is bad. It is a huge windstorm right now, and the dust is blowing everywhere. You can see the trees are going crazy. So now the view from the top of the tower is going to be horrible. So I probably will not be going up today. It is super windy.